Good evening, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the 5 common retirement myths, from topics like how much you might spend in retirement to how you should be invested. At the end, I'm going to talk about some key actions that you can take to help make sure you and your future plans remain on track. Now, for those I haven't met, I'm Scott with Searns Financial Group, where we help people with their key questions. Are you on track for retirement? What can you do to improve your financial picture, and how can you potentially reduce your tax situation? Figuring out how to plan for retirement can be an overwhelming task. And if you go out to the internet, there is a ton of information out there. Therefore, it's important to set the proper expectations and targets up front. So let's dive in. The 5 myths or 5 common myths about retirement. Myth number 1. Medicare will cover all of your health care needs. Well, there is Part A, which is hospital insurance. There's Part B, which is medical insurance. That's doctor's visits and outpatient care. However, there are a lot of items that are not covered. There's deductibles and co-payments, outpatient prescription drugs, routine dental care, vision care, hearing aids. Now, you can buy a separate Part D or a Medicare Advantage plan. However, remember, this is in addition. These are additional costs to Medicare. The other thing that you need to really think about and be prepared for are long-term care costs. Long-term care is not, well, let me reverse that. Medicare is not long-term care coverage. And long-term care coverage could cost you tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in your retirement. Folks, healthcare can be expensive, and healthcare costs are continuing to rise at a really fast rate. Okay, myth number 2, that you will spend less in retirement. Now, there's some rules of thumbs out there that you might need 70 or 80% of pre-retirement income in your retirement. Well, that all depends on the person and the plans. Now, some might actually spend less in retirement, but in my experience from working with different retirees, some spend the same or some even spend more. What I have found is that in retirement, people are looking to travel, they're taking on new hobbies, they've got additional leisure time. Also, maybe they have time with their kids or their grandkids, taking them out to dinners and lunches or just on vacations. And then, hey, don't forget what we've already talked about in myth number 1, that there's additional healthcare costs that you need to cover as well. So will you spend less in retirement? Again, it all depends on you, your plan, and what you look to do in your retirement. These rules of thumbs of spending less aren't really a safe assumption to make for your retirement. Okay, myth number 3, I'll work in retirement, or I don't plan on working in retirement. Folks, really, there isn't an answer to this one. One piece of advice that I can give you is really sit down and think about what is it that you want to do in your retirement. I find a lot of people go into retirement without having a plan of how they're going to fill their free time. So this really depends on your situation. Some people might decide to continue to work because really having all that free time in retirement isn't their thing. So maybe they're going to work part-time and then go into retirement. So full-time, part-time, retired. Now, for some of you, you might not have enough saved, so you might have to work in retirement. For others, depending on what your health situation might be, you might not be able to work in retirement. So there really isn't an answer to this one. It all depends on you and your plan. I really hope you're enjoying this so far and finding value in it. And if so, and you'd like to see additional videos as we come out with them, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or connect with us on Facebook. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting that red subscribe button below the video. That way you'll get notified as we continue to come out with additional videos to help you build wealth and reduce your overall tax picture. All right, let's move on. Myth number 4 is that you should become very conservative or super safe with your investments in retirement. here's what I find. I find that there are companies out there using marketing techniques to scare people to safety. In my opinion, you need to find a good balance between having some investments in growth, but also having some investments on the safer side, or what I've liked to nickname is your war chest. You want to have enough in your war chest to help weather a market storm. But the cost of goods continues to rise. According to the usinflationcalculator.com, a loaf of bread in 1988 cost 59 cents. That same loaf of bread 25 years later, 2013, cost around $1.42. That's more than doubled. Here's an easy one to look at, the U.S. postage stamp. In 1991, the U.S. postage stamp cost 29 cents. 30 years later, 2021, our U.S. postage stamp cost 55 cents. That's just shy of doubling over 30 years. So if you're too safe in your investments, inflation is going to outpace your growth. You have to remember, how long do you think that your retirement is going to last? 20 years, 25 years, 30 years? So you have to have an investment portfolio that's properly balanced, again, to support you, to help you weather a market storm, but also help you keep up and outpace inflation. All right, myth number 5, your taxes will be lower in retirement. Maybe, but maybe not. What I find is because of this myth, a lot of people are actually putting and saving their money into those tax-deferred accounts, the IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, 457s, and saving into those accounts, right? When you put money into those accounts, you do not pay tax on that money. All of the money in that account, plus all of its growth, is all tax deferred. You have not paid tax on any of that money until you decide to withdraw it. And these tax deferred accounts, IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, are the only accounts where the government forces you to take withdrawals from those at age 72, your required minimum distributions. So you haven't paid any tax on this money. The government's now going to force you to take withdrawals from it, those required minimum distributions, and all of those withdrawals are going to add to your taxable income. So in retirement, depending on how much you've saved into those tax-deferred accounts, you could have some pretty hefty, pretty high required minimum distributions, withdrawals that you're taking out of those accounts, which could potentially actually put you at a higher tax rate in the future, meaning you could have potentially more income coming in your future than you did prior to retirement, meaning your taxes now could be higher in retirement than they were prior to retirement. Another thing that you need to consider is that if you're a married couple and your spouse passes away, most likely the remaining spouse may jump up one tax bracket, again, making their taxes potentially higher in retirement. Then the other thing is the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That ends on December 31st, 2025, or right now it's scheduled to end on December 31st, 2025. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act reduced tax rates across the board for most everyone. So upon the expiration of this act, virtually all tax rates will potentially go higher. So the fact that your taxes will be lower in retirement, again, or not a fact, but I really look at it as a myth that your taxes might be lower in retirement. So there we had it, the 5 myths about retirement. Now, what are some actions that you can take? Here are some actions that we take with our clients that hopefully will help you. One is to understand your current cash flow, what's coming in, but more importantly, understand what is going out. That leads to the second action, create an income plan. What is an income plan? Well, it's a plan that has all of your sources of income in it, your paycheck, your Social Security, a pension. It's going to take a look at all of those sources of income, and it's going to look at when they will start, how long they will last, And we're also going to put estimates to all these other items that we've talked about today: vacations, healthcare costs, maybe any sort of hobbies that you might have. This is also going to tell you how much that you're going to need to take from your retirement savings to maintain your lifestyle. So what does this mean? Well, it's going to tell you how much of a shortfall that you might have and need to go and take from your retirement savings. It's also going to help you understand, do you have enough saved or do you need to save more? Again, I hope you found value in this video today, and if you want to see additional videos just like this to help you build wealth and reduce your overall tax picture, subscribe to our YouTube channel or connect with us on Facebook. Thanks, and have a great night.